I platinum Dark Souls, and before you ask, yes, I do have issues. There are a total of 41 trophies that we'll have to get across at least 3 playthroughs, and it will take around 70 hours. We begin with a character creation, give ourselves a fitting name for what it feels like to engage in coitus when married, and for class we choose the most underrated wealth building trade. The game begins at the Undead Asylum, we say goodbye to your mother, and proceed towards our first trophy, Enkindle, which we'll get for lighting our first bonfire. There are a total of 8 trophies that I already have, which I won't have the pop-up for from the PlayStation recording, one of which was Enkindle. The next one, Estus Flask. Well, to get that we first have to meet our first boss of the game. And with one last Kobe, victory is achieved. Shortly after we meet this knight, who gives us a questionable juice, but that also gives us the trophy, Estus Flask.
An Estus Flask, an undead favorite.
For the trophy Reach Lordran, we simply have to leave the asylum by the Velcro Express. Alright, plenty of things to do. First things first, we'll grab our next trophy, Covenant Way of White, right here at Firelink Shrine. We do this by talking to this fella right here. You do have to talk to him 3 times before he gives you the option, but once he does, simply say yes, and the trophy is yours. Continuing on through the Undead Burg, we come across our next foe, the Taurus Demon. Before we actually face him, we realize that he has 2 groupies behind us, so we turn around and go and give them a bonk each. Let's go, Taurus. Come on, man. And just a couple of bonks later, the big bad dog goes down. Right after Taurus's fight, we meet an old friend. Hello, old friend. The original Sunbro Solaire. Talking to him allows us to summon him for some of the boss fights going forward, and doing so will allow us to get some of them. Moving on from Solaire, there is another unique weapon that we need to grab from this red drake, and we do that by shooting down his tail, which drops us the drake's sword. This is one of the 32 weapons needed for Knight's Honor trophy. Hey, that's the first unique item. Gonna be needed for a trophy. We remember to grab this mystery key and the Firekeeper's soul in the Undead Parish. Then, to not forget later, we go to the Darkroot Gardens and grab the longbow. Back in the Undead Parish, behind the secret door, we find Lautrec. Now we use the mystery key we grabbed earlier to free him, and we do this for multiple reasons, such as his FAP ring, Firekeeper's soul down the line, and a few sunlight medals. For the trophy Ring the Bell, we proceed to the roof of the Undead Parish, where we're gonna summon Solaire and face off the next boss. And to cut the tale short... Yes, thank you, Solaire. Dude. That doesn't even seem fair. Alright, time to ring the bell. After you ring the bell at the bottom of the tower, there is Oswald of Karim.
I am Oswald of Karim, the path.
You can buy his miracle, which is needed for the platinum. Fair warning though, it is costly. For the next trophy, Ring the Bell in Quaylag's domain, we have to head to Blighttown. Few chores before we do that, starting by upgrading our flask by speaking to the Firekeeper in Firelink Shrine, and afterwards getting our sunlight medal from Lautrec for Back to Undead Burg we go, use the basement key to unlock the door on the bridge, and down we go. Welcome to Undead Lower Burg. Nothing like being stunlocked by dead poodles to remind you you're not the main character. If you bought or otherwise acquired the residence key, Then in Undead Lower Berg you can open this door to meet this fella that is stuck. And well, you do this for the Platinum Trophy as well, because you get him to move to Firelink Shrine and you can buy sorceries from him. It is also here in the Lower Undead Berg where we get to face up with Copper Demon, a boss so unfair that I just simply wish there was a simpler way to deal with him. Dude, I don't get what everyone complains about. This was done easy. With the newly acquired key to the depths, that is where we are headed. We grab a large ember. This is used for upgrading our weapons in Dark Souls 1. We free another fella who is stuck, and he's gonna sell us some stuff for the platinum as well. Not long after, we were coming up on our next boss fight. Alright, shortcut unlocked. We should be very close to the boss room now, whenever and if we die. But this boss is quite easy unless you get too close and you get one-shotted. But then, you know, that's not gonna happen. We're too good. Right? The next boss, and oh boy, if Trauma had a mouth, it would be this thing. Let's not forget that this is a Tales Souls game, so yay! There we go, Dragon King's Great Axe. That's gonna be one more rare weapon that we need for a trophy later on. There you go, that's another tail done. Yeah. That's the one-shot mechanic, and I actually run into the range of it. But we did get our Dragon King axe. I wish I could say the second attempt went any better. And we finally got him on our third attempt. We just let him sprint through, and once he was done, we moved in for a few hits. We did also switch our weapon to the Drake Sword, because at this stage in the game, it is way too powerful not to not use it. Alright, Blighttown. Well, oh, fuck. Needless to say, I had a great time, but finally we had made it to Quelaag's domain. If I was to describe this boss, well, it would be 1 minute you're dodging fire, the next you're googling how long does the burning last. No. I knew that was gonna happen, and I couldn't stop myself. It didn't actually take us too long to turn Quelaag into an only torso, premium content, 0 mobility. Wow, that's dark. Such a bittersweet victory. At least she has a sister. Alright, time to ring the second bell. Alright, before we go back and go into Sen's Fortress, we're gonna actually go and join the Chaos Covenant and meet Quelaag's sister. Gotta talk to this scrambled egg guy.
Oh dear, what have we here? Are you a new servant?
Say yes. That guy will let you pass now, and this is here where we can get our next bonfire, but also our next trophy. For speaking to Quelaag's sister, we get the option to choose the next covenant, which is Chaos Servant. Back in Firelink Shrine, we find that the Firekeeper has been unalived. Oi, what happened here? Now this isn't as bad as it seems, as we will be able to get her soul back and revive her. And so we step into Sen's Fortress, the funhouse. It is also here we stumble upon our first mimic, and let's just say it does not go to plan. Once we regain our footing, we actually stumble across a hidden sorcery that indeed is needed for the platinum as well. Okay, that's something that I'm gonna need for the platinum, the Hush sorcery. And we free this big hat guy because, well, why wouldn't you free someone locked away in a fortress for who knows how long. Yeah, why not? What can go wrong with releasing a guy that's imprisoned here, right? Oh, but we do need him for the platinum. For our next trophy acquired for reaching Anor Londo, the manhandler himself, the Iron Golem. Alright, come here, dude. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get him to... I never have... Well, I don't think that's ever happened to me before. I don't think I'll be able to stagger him. Well, that might happen. Talking about being manhandled, the next attempt went same way. I dodged. The Iron Golem fight in the end took us 3 attempts, and here I thought it wouldn't take us to nightfall. Well, I staggered him, but... Dude, what? Come on, man. Oh, yes. Dude, I just had to do the other foot. That's what I had to do. Ow. Dude, I am so dumb. Alright, well, we did at least get him in the end. Anor Londo, here I come. Each area in this game has its own particular place that most people might not be fond of. Well, this one's mine. I thought I sprinted. Oh my god, I am so happy I don't have a face cam. Oh boy, you would see just awful things right now. We did make it inside the final castle where we actually meet our old friend Solaire. Alright, opposite of Solaire there's gonna be a silver knight and we're gonna have a chest with 3 sunlight medals. These are gonna have to be farmed later on for some drops for the platinum. Oof. Dude. Okay, well, surely this is not gonna keep happening. And then we did manage to get him, and we picked up our 3 sunlight medals. We also uncovered the secret door. And picked up some items needed for the platinum. For the next trophy, Lord Vessel, we do have to face off the boss that ends most people's Dark Souls experience. Oh, but before you do, remember to step out on the ledge, my friend. Get it? There's an item you need. What was... This is gonna take a while, I think. Apparently I need to kill Big Boy first, Small first, because Ornstein, the Dragon Slayer behind him, this is gonna be the easiest point to do this at. Okay, well, it's gonna take me a while to get used to it. I haven't done that fight in a very long time, and I think it's the hardest one in this game. Now, the reason we want to kill Small first, the big boy, is because Ornstein in New Game Plus is almost impossible to kill if you kill Small first. So the idea here is if you kill Small, then Ornstein's gonna get powered up. If you kill Ornstein, Small's gonna get powered up. Now, if I do that in New Game Plus, Ornstein becomes so powerful, it's gonna be a very tough fight. Oh no. No, I dodged into that. No, that should have been a dodge back. No. Okay, this is gonna be... No, it's not that bad. We're gonna get this done. It's not that bad. It really isn't. I wasn't even safe outside of the boss fight. Why does he have to swipe? In all fairness, it takes me time to get adjusted back into games and getting back to a decent level. And, well, it was happening here. And we did manage to get into second phase. Heal. Oh, now we're in for it. Now we are in for it. Goodbye, Smo, big boy. Now we get to play with the fire. With the Dragon Slayer. Thing is, I've never fought Big Smo really. Well, once for a platinum. Third. That's all the damage I'm doing. Oh, that's tough. Oh no. No, 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 no. No. Actually, that was lucky. Oh, come on. This is way easier than the first phase. It really is. It is easier than the first phase, but come on, man. Oh no, the fact that the first one hit me, that's the thing that killed. We interrupt your normal programming of me dying to the Dragon Slayer to farm some Silver Knight items and level up, get stronger, upgrade a weapon, and then return to Dragon Slayer. Hey, there we go, Silver Knight Shield. That is one of the items that I needed, and that's why I reversed my hollowing. I don't know if that actually helps, but I need to have 10 liquid humanity up in the left corner, and I do have 11, and as far as I'm aware, this item discovery additional from humanity stops at 10. Ooh. So we need the straight sword and the spear. Aha, there it is, Silver Knight spear. Just only need the straight sword now, and that is all the Silver Knight weapons and items even out of the way. Which is actually pretty ridiculous how fast we'll have gotten these. I remember doing this my first time, it took me hours. Just farming the knights. There it is. Silver Knight straight sword. Actually, not only did we grab the Silver Knight weapons, we grabbed the Giant's halberd as well. You can buy it, but we got it as a drop. Ooh, Giant's halberd. I don't even have extra item discovery. That's cool. That's another item we'll need for the item trophy. And we grabbed the crystal halberd as well. That flying kick though. Alright, there it is, plus 10 Uchikatana. And so it was back to the Dragon Slayer. And this time it made me realize how dumb I was for not upgrading my weapon earlier. Woo. Back to phase 2. Dude, upgrading weapon. This is a joke now. And it really did feel like a joke, even though Ornstein was still taking quite little damage compared to Smoke. It didn't matter much though, because we dwindled him down and finally beat him to a pulp. And so it was time to meet... wow. Well, for some reason I can't remember her name, but well, this is where we got our first real trophy of this run. Hey! Lord Vessel trophy earned. So the first trophy back to the game. By the power of the Lord Vessel, you may now warp between bonfires. There should actually be another trophy here we could get. And so we got Covenant Princess's Guard. After acquiring the Lord Vessel in the Great Hall, we can invade Lortrek's world. Yes, the same guy we freed. And beating him will allow us to revive the Firekeeper in Firelink Shrine. Oh, this is gonna be tough. I only have 2 Estus. No. Dude, it was just one hit. And this is basically every single anime fight ever. There we go, there we go, there we go. Souvenir of reprisal. The guilty paid the price, returning to... Oh, yes. Dude, look at my health. Holy dude. Ring of favor and protection. I know that's good. Boost HP stamina load. Breaks when removed. Yeah, we're not removing it. Holy, look at that. Back at Farling Shrine, we revive the Firekeeper and speak to Sigmar of Katrina, and since we've proceeded with this quest up until this point, we get the miracle that is much needed for the Platinum Trophy. We also made our way back to the Undead Asylum. For our next trophy, defeat Crossbreed Priscilla, we had to grab this peculiar doll in the cell that we started the game in. But before leaving the asylum, one more item that we have to grab, the crest shield from a familiar face. So back in Anor Londo in the Great Hall with the White Ninjas, we grabbed the Great Magic Weapon Sorcery and the Black Iron Great Shield before we move on to the Painted World of Ariamis, where for the Platinum we will grab the Blood Shield, the Fire Surge Pyromancy, Acid Surge Pyromancy, the Wall of Silence Miracle, but also farm up Souvenirs of Reprisal, grab the Dark Ember, Helga's Rapier, and finally face off Priscilla. The only reason I need to kill her is because I need to cut off her tail for a weapon, and we need that for the platinum. All right.
I expected as much from thee. Why dost thou hurry to walk by death?
She's right there, right in front of me. Come on, give me the tail. Yes. All right. Sorry, love.
But why?
Defeat Crossbreed Priscilla. Silver trophy as well. And now we can actually leave this place. We have completed it fully. Now there is actually only one way to leave the Painted World of Ariamis. Don't do it. Do a backflip. Gonna summon Beatrice and we will take down the Moon Butterfly together. And this is because the Moon Butterfly is just for most of the fight just lying around, and I don't want to wait for it to land as often, so I'm just gonna let Beatrice take it down. This isn't even a boss, dude. That's just unfair. Goodbye. Thank you. Alright, there is an ember we have to get up here. Divine Ember. Alright, before we move really any further, there are two guys here at Firelink. Actually three. We have Big Hat Logan, this dude, and then the Pyromancer, right? Yeah, I want to buy all the Pyromancers and Sorceries that these guys have. So we're gonna go back to Painted World and we're gonna do some farming. Alright, first, this guy. Forgot his name. The cool thing here is it shows us how many we have held, so we know what to buy and what to skip. So this one requires 8,000 souls, and we are holding 0. So we buy this, we buy this. Well, actually, we buy just all 5 of them. And I still have 218,000 souls. Next in the Darkroot Basin we have to deal with the Hydra. And this is so we can actually free a Dusk of Ulasil who has some more sorceries to sell us. The Hydra has more heads than a married man could ever dream of. But there's an easy cheese. And we simply stay by these rocks right here and smash their heads once they get close. Defeating the Hydra and reloading the area spawns his golden golem. Defeat him and the Dusk of Ulasil will be free.
So, 'tis thou who rescued me.
Yes, ma'am. Reload the area once more, and this time her summon sign can be found next to where the Hydra was fought. Summon her, and you can interact with her to buy her sorceries. Next we grabbed the enchanted ember in the Darkroot Garden, and for our next trophy, Covenant Forest Hunter, we spoke to this talking cat. Hey, Covenant Forest Hunter, that's another silver trophy. At this point in the story, we have to defeat 4 Soul Lords in order to be able to fill the Lord Vessel and proceed to fight Gwyn, the endgame boss. First up, the 4 Kings. But before we can do that, we have to get the trophy Art of Abyss Walking for defeating a puppy holding on to his master's Covenant ring, which is needed to walk in the abyss if the previous name didn't give it away. Or heading to the petting zoo to see Sif. As any decent Dark Souls player with a common sense, we upgraded our weapons, finally learning. And through this, we actually got our first reinforcement trophy for a raw weapon. Imagine that, raw weapon trophy before seeing a dog. Ooh, raw weapon. Acquire best weapon through raw in reinforcement. Well, we just did that, didn't we? Oh, this is gonna be sad. Now, we need to talk about Sif, the great grey wolf, the noble protector, the sword-wielding canine, one of the most iconic and heartbreaking bosses in the game. And I want you to know, you're going to watch the whole fight, not because I had to do it 3 times, no. I'm showing you this because I only got to do it 3 times. We find 2 more rare weapons, this also includes actually shields, in the Valley of Drakes, the Dragon Crest Shield and the Astoris Straight Sword next to the zombie dragon. So we're gonna kill him and then we're gonna go in and loot our stuff. Easy. Sorry my man. Oh, that gave me a dragon scale. Astoris Straight Sword, Dragon Crest Shield and a soul. Having learned that we need 15 intelligence for the Big Hat Logan to actually sell us stuff, we leveled up our intelligence to 15 and then spoke to Big Hat Logan. All this for the trophy, Wisdom of a Sage. Right, we had just enough to get 15 intelligence. I need 40,000 souls. Right, and that is Soul Spear. And so we had arrived at New Londor Ruins. Not much to get here, just a very large ember to further upgrade our weapons. Aye, there it is, a very large ember. Now we can actually upgrade our weapons to plus 15. And then the 4 Kings. Alright, time for the 4 Kings. Alright, easy enough. I think we're good here. I thought I might need a little bit more Estus than I had, the 5 sips, but this will be fine. What? Bro, I thought I did get away. Oh, dude, he took my humanity. Holy, I didn't know they do that. Oh, last one spawn. Okay, good. Doesn't matter, because I got rid of the last one. There you are, baby boy. Defeat the 4 Kings. Another silver trophy and bequeathed Lord Soul Shard. That is, we're making strides towards the end, it seems like. Oh, and I did get some humanities, but they did steal humanity from me, which is interesting. Alright, let's light this bonfire, and it's time to speak to... So, there's a reason why we didn't speak to Frampt, which is, well, this dude, but in Firelink Shrine, this is his evil twin, as far as I recall. He should be named Kath? And he's gonna give us a covenant. And if we had spoken to Frampt, we wouldn't be able to get this. Well, I'm gonna say yes. Oh, shit. No. Oh. Oh, that's bad. Now in Firelink Altar, we're finally able to place the Lord Vessel that we got in Anor Londo, and doing so unlock the pathways to the rest of the Soul Lords. And for our next trophy before leaving the Firelink Altar, we speak to Kath. There it is, Covenant Dark Wraith. Now we are joining it as well, because we need the Dark Hand weapon for the Platinum. There it is. The Dark Hand. For our next trophy, defeat Grave Lord Nito, we are unfortunately headed to the Catacombs. Time for one of the worst areas of the game in my opinion, but I think this time, even though I played through the game now, this is my 4th or 5th time? Shut up, Frampt. There's a few things that we need to ensure we grab before actually getting to Nito. Starting by... Shit. That's not what I wanted to do, dude. I pressed circle by mistake there. And we did make our way back, and this is important because this is here where we meet Vamos, the next blacksmith. We're gonna need him for 2 of the trophies. This is a great scene in Dark Souls. You think it's a boss, but it turns just out to be a... What the f... This is also where we grab the Dark Moon Sand Ring that we'll need for the Defeat Dark Sun Gwendolyn trophy. Dark Moon Sand Ring. I think this might be needed for Platinum. And there should be also a miracle we need somewhere here. There it is. Miracle. Tranquil Walk of Peace. For the Trophy Rite of Kindling, we have to deal with our next boss. Boss? Wait, no, this dude doesn't even qualify, dude. What? Rite of Kindling. Mask of Mother. There's something about these masks I've never really paid much attention. This mask belonging to kindly slightly raises HP. Oh. And there's different masks that you can get. Okay, well, we're gonna run with this for now. Well, that was Pinwheel, one of the hardest bosses in this game. Sheesh. For one of the Covenant items needed for the trophies, we need to have 10 Eyes of Death, so we make sure to grab these 3 in the Catacombs. Alright, 3 Eyes of Death. This is something we're gonna need, but we're gonna keep that until our New Game Plus playthrough, because we need 10 for a Covenant item. And in New Game Plus we get 3 more for free, and then we can just farm the rest 4. But let me take a break here. Seems like the best place to rest in a game like Dark Souls. But this is actually interesting because we end up in the arena, we'll face off Nito. But this is also where we join the Gravelord's Servant Covenant for the trophy, which is actually missable if we fight Nito first and defeat him, because, well, the Covenant Master is Nito himself. Oh, there you are, big boy, aren't you? Holy... But yeah, we can't fight him, but we did this for the Covenant Gravelord's Servant. We also make progress towards 2 other trophies, Gravelord's Sword and Gravelord's Sword Dance Miracle. 2 more items that we do need for the platinum. Alright, and now for potentially the worst area of the game, but we do have something that does make it better, which is why I prepped Cast Light. So now we actually can see. This is also here where we find treasure in the form of a friendship. Oh yeah, definitely trust someone who laughs like that. All jokes on him, I get to loot all of this. Oh, hello lady. Hey, she's from Firelink Shrine. Well, she says there's nothing to be done. I beg to differ. Goodbye. Ooh, replenishment miracle is also here in the catacombs. We can find the large divine ember needed for the reinforcement trophies. We also managed to find another 3 eyes of death, and those totaling the 3 that we already have and the 3 that we will be buying from patches in Firelink Shrine. Well, that gives us 9, meaning we just have to come back here in New Game Plus, pick the drop up in the Catacombs or here in the Tomb of Giants, and we have or 10 that are needed for a Covenant item for the Platinum. Hello, Leroy. Shortly before Nido's fight, if we are in our human form, we get invaded by Divine Knight Leroy. Defeating him is actually needed for the Platinum, because he's the only way to obtain the Grand and Sanctus weapons and shield. Dude, that was almost all of his health. Grand and Sanctus. These 2 items are needed for the Platinum, so that is why we had to reverse hollowing, so we could actually have Leroy spawn and then take care of him. And after picking up our first, hey, White Titanite Slab. It was finally time for the Nido fight. Alright, Gravelord Nido, I am back. So Nido's fight actually gave us some trouble. No, 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 no. Why did I do that? But we don't give up here. So we went again. Okay, I want to see if the Chaos Blade's gonna do better than the Divine Weapon against him. So let's see what the Divine does again. 73 versus... Oh boy, you're done. You're done. You're done. A simple small change, like switching to a Chaos Blade. And we got the fight in the bag. Thank you for playing, Gravelord Nido. I don't know why I didn't do... Why didn't I try it on the first try? With a first shot... Defeat Gravelord Nido. We got the first Lord Soul. In the Tombs of Giants, we spoke to Rhea, and she has now moved on to the Undead Parish's church. So we're just gonna go and see what kind of miracle she has that we don't already have. Hello, Rhea. Then we don't have Great Heal. Let's buy one of those. Breath of the Gods we don't have. Let's buy those. See Guidance, don't need that. Magic Barrier is needed. And we have everything else. The next part is not platinum related, but... hear me out. This is Petrus. A fucking coward. Now... an important thing to do here is, which I already did, is I bought everything I could from Rhea. I don't know if she has any more miracles that are gonna appear later on. But if I continue with the main quest now, Petrus is gonna go and kill Rhea. So Patches also should be here now. Hey, there we are, Patches. Oh, I can buy the Mask of the Child. Slightly raises stamina recovery speed. Yeah, we're gonna buy this. Now, another thing though. We don't need Patches anymore. But we need his Crescent Axe. Also, I need to have my revenge. Thank you for your humanity and your Crescent Axe. Back in Anor Londo, we used the Dark Moon Sand Ring that we found in the catacombs to open a hidden pathway towards Dark Sun Gwendolyn to be able to join the Dark Moon Covenant and fight the Dark Sun Gwendolyn himself. Covenant Blade of the Dark Moon discovered. Now, we are gonna join this Covenant because we already have all the items we need to get the miracle from the Covenant. So we get the Blue-Eyed Orb, don't really need that. But Dark Moon Blade Covenant Ring, cool. And now we can offer our souvenirs of reprisal, which we did farm and we did get all 10. So we're gonna offer our 10 reprisals, and we got the Miracle Dark Moon Blade. It's time to kill Gwendolyn. Wow, okay. I meant to say die to Gwendolyn. Hey, defeat the Dark Sun Gwendolyn, a silver trophy. The boss fight is a child's play, really, so don't worry about that one. But once you're done, at the end of the tunnel, there's a miracle. For our next trophy, defeat Seath the Scaleless, we have to make our way towards the Duke's archives. But before actually getting to him, we have to die to him involuntarily, and then grab a few more items that are required for the platinum. Hey, that's the miracle, Soothing Sunlight. And this should be Bountiful Sunlight. These are 2 needed for the platinum. As well as we need to speak to Big Hat Logan. Back in the library in a chest. Hey, that's another one. Sorcery Strong Magic Shield. Another sorcery added to the collection. And then of course the Ember as well. Oh, Crystal Ember as well. That's gonna be needed for the plat. One of the quest lines that we actually do need to complete is the Big Hat Logan one. And one of the last things we have to do is buy all the sorceries that we can from him before we actually take the fight to him. Homing Crystal Soul Mass and the Crystal Soul Spear. Now I do make a mistake here because you actually have to buy all the sorceries from him here to actually progress with his questline, which is something that I didn't do, but I do come back here and do that. So if you're going to do this, then remember to do exactly what I said that I didn't do. Okay, I must say I look damn cool, but now it was time to rematch Seath. I'm not scared of him, I just need to fucking repair my weapons, dude. Once we made our way back to Seath, there's 2 things to remember. First is to cut off his tail for the Moonlight Greatsword, which is needed for the Knight's Honor trophy as well. But secondly, there's a crystal behind him that is needed to be destroyed to actually be able to damage Seath. Alright, first things first, get behind him and destroy the crystal. Now you die. But I also need your tail, dude. Getting Seath's tail is actually one of the toughest things to do in this game, if I'm being 100% completely honest. It sucks. It's a lot of running around him, and then you actually have to damage just the tip of his tail to actually be able to cut it off. So yeah, a lot of trouble, especially with these tail swipes. This doesn't mean that we give up. We always get what we came for. Yay, there it is. Moonlight Greatsword. Now we can just finish up the fight and we are done. There it is. Nothing hard about that except getting the tail, dude. Just like real life. Defeat Seath the Scaleless and bequeath Lord Soul Shard. Aye. There it is. Nice. And finish up with our next trophy, Wisdom of a Sage. We have to finish Logan's questline. Alright, now we go back to where Logan was. We'll see he's crazy, and then we have to go back to the tower where we saw Seath for the first time. Hello, Logan. You've lost some clothes, have you? Alright, now, if I've done everything correctly, this will also be Wisdom of a Sage trophy. That is all sorceries collected. And this should also be the large magic ember. On our way to our next Covenant trophy, we accidentally lost a fight against gravity. No. So my 24 humanity is gone. Shit. Eventually we did manage to descend the Great Hollow and managed to grab also another miracle before reaching our Covenant destination. Hey, miracle, great magic barrier. Another miracle added to my collection. And then finally, the coolest Covenant yet. And also another silver trophy. Path of the Dragon. Now, there's one more thing that this dragon will give me. Since we are playing Tale Souls, the Dragon Great Sword. As we are on roll of obtaining some of the platinum related items, we offered 30 humanity for another Pyromancy Chaos Storm achieved. Then we cheesed up my teenage years and collected another victory achieved from a rigatoni. Rigatoni is a type of pasta. The Fire Sage is a copy pasta. Get it? And then another boss. This one, however, more useful than the previous one. This is one awful fight to take at range, as the centipede's arm attack reaches further than any YouTuber's apology ever will. So in order to beat the centipede, you've got to roll under his flaming family jewels and hope he doesn't take it personally. And for a reward, well, a pair of fireproof Crocs. In the form of a ring, of course. For our next trophy, we have to defeat the Bed of Chaos, another Lord Soul found in Lost Izalith shortly after the Centipede Demon. The entrance to the boss arena? Well, if that isn't foreshadowing that we're not going to be on sure footing here, I don't know what else it is. Few things to say about this boss. Well, first, watch out for the bitch slaps. These definitely won't be a problem once the floor starts to crumble away. But before that happens, head either to the left or right and destroy whatever is in the middle of this sphere. I've still no idea what it is. It's not the main boss, it's not the main bug of the boss. I have no clue. Also roll through it. Yeah, that seems to do the trick. And now suddenly it's a platformer. Goodbye floor. And good luck getting to the other side without, well, taking a bitch slap and falling through. Luckily, when you return to the arena, the progress remains. You don't actually have to destroy both spheres, just have to go up to the one that you didn't, and the boss's progress remains. And this also applies when you destroy the other sphere and have to get to the main boss. And once that's done, just head to the middle, jump on this conveniently placed branch, and you're almost home. Roll through the pathway to break the branches, and, well, try not to die like I almost did here, and simply one-shot the bug. And with the Bed of Chaos defeated, we have all the 4 Lord Souls needed to place them in the Lord Vessel and open the gate towards Gwyn, and being able to actually finish our first playthrough. Now, before we actually do finish our first playthrough, there are some items that we need to get for the Knight's Honor trophy. So we'll start by farming the Black Knights here in the Kiln of First Flame. We need the shield, sword, greatsword, halberd, and great axe. As well as these Black Knights drop some great farming materials for all the reinforcement trophies that we'll be needing. And with the items from the Black Knights done, we headed to the Darkroot Basin to farm more Stone Greatsword and Stone Great Shield. And that's the Greatsword on my 6th kill. And the Stone Greatsword back to back. Alright, well, we are done here. Alright, I am missing one item. Hey! There it is, Chandler's Trident. And with that one out of the way, all the normal items were collected. Now for the Knight's Trophy, the only thing missing were the boss soul weapons. But before we get to finishing that, there's some other trophies in the way that we will get out first. Enchanted weapon is done. And occult weapon trophy as well. Lightning weapon. And again, we went back to the painted world to do some more farming that we will in the future replace with a faster, much more better way of farming. I might show you. I haven't decided yet. But all this for... oh, that should be all of them. That should be all weapons I need upgraded to plus 10. Now I need a Pyromancy upgraded to plus 10 for Quailana to appear in the next run. Then we went back to Demon Runes or Lost Izalith. I don't know exactly what this counts as, but this is basically a shortcut between the two areas. And here we find some Sunlight Maggots that we will be farming for our Sunlight Medals. 7 Sunlight Medals. And that is number 10. Sunlight Bros Unite. We are done indeed. We have 10 Sunlight Medals. Now I do need one more Eye of Death. So let's go and kill some basilisks. And there it is. And so for the trophy Tilling the Fire, we finally get to face off with Gwyn. Gwyn time. Been a while since I've done this boss. But a riposte is still possible, dude. I'm sorry, you're no lord. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No. Yep. I wish I could say that was my only death at Gwyn, but unfortunately the next attempt... Dude! That reach! Dude! Just one more riposte and that was it. But all good things come to an end, Gwyn. Soul of Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. There are two different endings to the game, and whichever ending you get depends on what you choose to do after you beat Gwyn. You can either link the fire or leave the arena and let darkness consume the world. There it is, to link the fire. Our first gold trophy for Dark Souls 1. Ah, shit. Here we go again. The second playthrough sees us focusing mostly on specific boss kills. We need multiples of their souls for the different weapons that we can get with them. Also collecting some slabs that we didn't do before. And would you look at that, one cycle the Moonlight Butterfly. Ho ho ho, yeah baby. And Civ goes down again. Another Titanite slab from the Stray Demon in the Undead Asylum, and down in Blighttown, Quelana of Izalith. This is the reason why we needed the Pyromancy Flame upgraded to +10 or higher, and she's gonna give us our last Pyromancies that we need for the trophy, Bond of a Pyromancer. Bro, I don't have these? What the? But as it turned out, I was too poor and I didn't have the souls, dude. So instead we went and squashed the spider again. And returned when we had some currency. Bought the pyromancies we didn't have, and then, well, we had to do a thing. She drops the last pyromancy. Brother, what? That should have been a trophy. What am I missing, brother? And as it turns out, it was the pyromancies from Aingi that I was missing. Next up, ONS in Anor Londo. Now, because we did kill Smo first and got the Ornstein soul, this time we actually gonna kill Ornstein first and get the Smo's soul. An hour or two later, we got our next trophy, Covenant Warrior of Sunlight. This will level up our faith to level 25 as it is needed to actually be able to join the Covenant. We get the Lightning Spear Miracle for joining the Covenant, and for offering our 10 Sunlight medals, Miracle Great Lightning Spear. Not long after, another 5 reinforcement trophies. Trophy for Magic Weapon, the strongest weapon as well. The Divine Weapon one was next, followed quickly by Chaos, and lastly one for Fire Weapon. And it didn't take us long to get back to Gwyn for our second gold trophy, Dark Lord, but also his soul. We need 2 of those for the trophy. For this ending, we simply leave the fire be and leave the arena. There it is, Dark Lord Trophy. We only have a few to go. For the Prayer of a Maiden trophy, we had to buy Karmic Justice from Oswald. Prayer of a Maiden, finally there it is. Now we only really have 2 trophies to go. And the first one of those, Crystal Weapon. And for the last trophy, Knight's Honor, we ran into a slight issue with our broken straight sword not being a plus 10. When I was looking at the guide, well, I kind of missed that it is needed. Because I'm dyslexic apparently. And not only that, we made a slight mistake dealing with the man that was needed for upgrading this broken straight sword to plus 10. So you know, we went to NG plus 5. But you know, I wasn't really willing to pay for my mistakes with that much time spent, so we went farming. Yep. I did everything here. My mistake was killing Andre. I don't want to do this. There's no way. But you know, the subsequent New Game Plus runs, well, they weren't that bad, seeing that I used my secret farming method. And so, a couple of hours later, well, we were back in Anor Londo by the giant blacksmith, and we're about to turn the broken straight sword into the great sword of Artorias, which was the last unique weapon that we needed. Alright. What is this, New Game plus 4 or 5? And we get to modify a weapon. Knight's Honor. And the Platinum.